Hi guys, welcome to Eyewitness. This is an account of God's faithfulness of something that I've witnessed with my own eyes. In April 2010 there was a volcano that erupted in Iceland, and this had affected all travel in Europe because because of volcanic ash that was in the air. They feared that it would go into the engines of the planes and cause some chaos. And so at the time I was the missions director here at Cork Church. And we had, I think it was our first or second mission trip, could have been our first mission trip to India, to Trivandrum in India. And we were really all excited about it, and we'd done the fundraising and everything was done. And now we were coming closer to the date in which we were supposed to fly out. And so now the airports were closed here in Cork, closed in Dublin, closed all over. So we were trying to figure this out in our own imagination, in our own wisdom. How are we going to get to India? So there was a plan that we could go to Dublin, take the boat across to London, because London's airports were open. And so we tried, and we looked here and looked there and looked there and looked there. And I remember in my heart, I knew we've got a great God. We got to go to Him. And so I remember one Monday night in prayer, going to the Lord, and we were just praying and praying and praying and praying. And then the Holy Spirit came in the middle of all that and just ministered to me in my heart. And this is what He said. He says, God has a calendar in which all of these events were established and penciled in. No amount of praying is going to bring that thing forward. No amount of praying is going to push that appointed date backwards. And the moment that happened, my heart was just so filled with just this peace that came upon my heart, and I remember, I mean, the skies were just blue as anything. No planes, nothing. And I remember on the morning in which the flight was supposed to take off. And I remember I was still sitting in the kitchen, and I looked up into the sky, and there was this white trail of a plane that had left. My heart skipped a beat, and He said, yes, here we go, we're going. And this is the mystery of God. The mystery of God is that there was a 2-hour window. That there's only 2 hours that the airports were open in Cork and in Dublin. And in those 2 hours, the mission team was able to go to India. They went to India. As soon as their plane took off, the airports closed. And so now again, it was the same thing on the way back. Again, there was again the same 2-hour window. That 2-hour window was exactly when they came and they landed, and everything happened according to the way God had planned it. And I want you to know this one thing. I'm here to attest to this one thing, that God is faithful, that God has everything in hand. The more we panic, it doesn't move the hand of God. We have a choice. We can either rest and receive what God has for us, or we can panic and receive what God has for us. Either way, He's going to do it. But the joy of resting is when He does it, you give Him a great big shout. And here I am 10 years later, recounting the goodness of the Lord, of that mission trip that went to India, how that God was on time, perfect, because He has a calendar. And I just want to give God honor and glory for His faithfulness to us. And particularly to me at the time, it was just the ease that came upon my heart when He told me that He has a calendar on which He set things in place, and they are going to happen on that day at that time, because He's faithful. Because he has an interesting thing, because even as we were choosing the dates about a year before, it was God who directed us there, and He knew about what was going to happen already. So here we are now in a period where we're facing COVID virus and this and that. I want you to know God knew about this long in advance, and He will make windows in which He will perfect and do what only He can do, because He's faithful.